Hello, everybody. It is Mike and Eva here, and today we are going to be talking about.
Signs that someone might be a little shady.
So let's get into it. All right, we're back, and we're going to talk about signs that somebody possibly may be shady when dating or in a relationship. And we're going to start off with Eva. What do you have?
Well, first of all, I do believe that when we're dating and trying to find a perfect partner for ourselves, we really want to weed out people that are not really meant for us or they don't want to be there for long haul.
Right.
So it's important to look for different red flags and signs that things not might not work out in the long run. So for me, a big one is when I first start talking to somebody and they tell me their full name, I would check their social page, like social media page, anything from Facebook, LinkedIn, and stuff. And the reason for that is that most of the time especially when it comes to Facebook and Instagram, it's a telltale sign of who that person is. Not only you'll get the information about their likes, dislikes, political views, etc., but also you can see the red flags that they might be a little shady, like no pictures of other people on their social media, like completely clean. Everywhere they go is just pictured by themselves, so they don't really have to go back and clean up anything. Very simple, maybe just memes or just videos of things that really don't amount to anything. So you don't get a real person out of that page. And another one is what comes to social media. A lot of people just will will say that they don't really want a social media page because one thing of another. I do believe that if somebody is not real on social media, especially these days, it wasn't like 20 years ago, but these days it's a really big telltale sign of things
Yeah,
to come.
I agree with you on that. I think that if somebody doesn't have a page at all, that's
That's
kind of a concern, at least to be looking at a little bit, because most people do have social media.
that's a big one. That's a big
I mean,
shady.
just not even having.
Usually that's not a little shady these
Yeah, and
days.
actually, I know guys that are actually players that have flat out told me they don't have Facebook, so they don't have to clean up stuff.
Hmm.
And so that I would agree with you. I'd say
Hmm.
that's a
Yeah, because somebody once told me, a friend of mine, he said he doesn't want social media page because he doesn't want to get in fights with his girlfriend and stuff. And I said, how would you get in fights? Only you can get in fight with your girlfriend is like when you're talking to other people.
right,
Otherwise, what is the problem?
right, and I agree with Eva on that. And another sign going to the social media, like if you click on somebody's social media page and they just got a picture of themselves and nothing else. Like if they were to click my social media page, you see pictures where I took trips, uh,
Your
my
daughter,
daughter,
your dog,
concerts, pets.
your exes,
Yeah,
one or two.
way back there, and
Mhm.
um, anything, guitar playing, whatever. But it's just not a picture of this some goob by himself trying to be shady and everything. So I would say that this is a solo picture with not crap. And what I mean by that is like that's open to the public. So like if you just were to look at their name and you look and you don't see anything but their picture only and doesn't show their friends either, then that's probably a sign that there's some shadiness going on there.
Well, with that, I kind of disagree because
Yeah.
I like to keep my content quiet. I mean, long time ago, we all let everybody see what we're doing in the world.
Yeah.
I do believe this content should be mostly for friends. But if you're in a relationship with that person and you're friends with them on their social media, that's what I'm talking about, that there's really nothing to see.
Right. But even if you have 20 friends in common and then you look at that person's page and it just says no friends to be shown, that's pretty shady stuff, in
Yeah,
my opinion.
true.
It doesn't mean that they're shady, but I mean, we're just talking about signs of possible things to be looking for. And I once knew a girl that was engaged to a guy, and she wouldn't even post her engagement or relationship or anything on Facebook. And she was saying the reason that was to protect the relationship. In my mind, I was kind of thinking that's to keep your options open.
True. And I had a friend, similar situation. She lives with a friend with her boyfriend. And I asked her, I'm like, why I never knew that you have a boyfriend, and especially living in, that's a big deal. And she said, oh, it's just to protect my relationship because you know how women are. They go after your guy. And I'm thinking, no, because if your guy will talk to people on Facebook, that means and is in a relationship with you, that means he's not the right
Right.
person.
And
Period.
and I agree. I agree that that's kind of goofy. And what I yeah, if you're in a relationship with somebody and they won't put it on the Facebook or social media, that's not a good look for sure. And in the protecting relationship, like me personally, I would never reach out and talk to a girl on a Facebook if I saw a picture of her with her boyfriend. If she was by herself and didn't show no relationship, then I might reach out. You know, if I was single,
True.
but we're engaged, so this
Yeah.
this doesn't really apply. We're just trying to help other people out there, you know, avoid some of the pitfalls that we ran into.
Yeah. Another thing is like when you're seeing somebody and a person, I had this happen to me before, and the person said, oh, we took a selfie, why don't you post it on Facebook, because him and I were friends on Facebook. And I said, I didn't post that picture on Facebook because you don't allow anything on your wall. And he said, you can tag me. I'm like, yeah, but if you don't allow the tag to show on your wall, why would I post a picture with you? Period.
Yeah,
And that was a big red flag of shadiness. And that was kind of, I knew what he expected out of me, to post the picture so all the guys know that I'm seeing him, but he didn't want to return the favor. So
yeah, that's a
that
hundred
was that.
percent shady, and
Hmm.
that's just kind of lock the other person down and let yourself have all the options. And
Yeah.
I mean, just face it. It sounds like a goob. I don't know who she's talking about, but there's a lot of goobs and idiots out there, and I think they even say that 20% of the men date all the women, and I mean, pretty something like that. And there's a reason because there is a lot of goobs, and
True.
that's what I can say, and a goobettes too on the other
That's true.
spectrum. So it's
Hmm. Yeah, that's probably on social media. I would say that's most of it. Um, yeah.
yeah, because not. I mean, if you go out with somebody on a date and you're not seeing nobody else, and then you post something like that on your Facebook, then that's pretty. If you won't allow that to be posted on your Facebook, I'm sorry, that's pretty shady, you know, or social media or whatever. Somebody says, I'm going to post this. Oh, don't do that.
That's another one.
I actually had that happen to me before, actually. So I know what you're talking about, kind of, like that. So, I mean, yeah,
Yeah, social media is a big red flag to look for
right.
shadiness. That's for
And
sure.
if somebody's trying to hide the fact that they're seeing you or in a relationship or
Even dating
even
you or
dating
hanging
you,
out
uh,
doesn't matter which part it
right,
is.
basically, like Eva was saying, that's super shady. And
Waste of time. Why do
yeah,
you want to hang out with somebody that's not proud to be with you, when you can drop that person and go out with somebody that would put you on a pedestal and want to be with you and would like the world to know that they are with you?
yeah. And well, I mean, it's just like a lot of guys these days, and maybe women too, they like to run what they call a rotation and try to have like a rotation of women. And they'll see one this day, one that day. And when they're doing something like that, they don't really want any social media because they don't want to get hung up or caught up in it or whatever. That would be a term. But
Another one that, talking about that, was, it just came to my mind, is I knew a lot of women that were single, and I called them the dinner daters. It's the girl that has dinner with somebody else, a, a different guy, 3 4 times a week, and then they're on rotation, just buying them dinners, and they go out. And I always thought to myself, how tiring that must be, to try and go out just to have dinner put makeup on, get dolled up, and you have to entertain the person you go out with,
Right.
just to have dinner paid for. That
Yeah.
was crazy for me.
I don't really think it's about the dinner in that case. I think it's more about the ego to prove that, you know, I'm all that and I can get this and everything. I don't really think so much that it's like,
Oh
um,
no, they told me
I
they
know,
get
but
their
they make
free food.
yeah, well, you get the free food, but in my mind, I'm believing that's an ego thing. Like, look at me, like a guy
Maybe.
would think I'm a stud. I can get four
Hmm.
women in a week or whatever,
Maybe
and
same for women.
that's
I
what I
don't
kind of
know,
think. That's what I
because
think. That's
I
yeah,
I never needed
because
anybody to pay
yeah,
for my dinner.
right. You can. I mean, if it was really about the food, that's nuts. But it's
Yeah,
more like the ego, I would believe. But
probably.
yeah, social media, not having a social media or being overly protective, very lame. Um, like I said, there's a lot of goobs out there, and y'all know who you are. So, you know, there's a reason why you're single a lot of times.
True, true.
So
I mean, women have probably different criteria of dating men than men do dating women. So if you're single, there might be some things you might want to correct.
yeah. So anyway, we're here
Hmm.
to talk about signs somebody may be shady, but social media is huge, or lack of social
Hmm.
media, how they handle it, or things like that. What else
Yeah,
would you have?
multiple phones.
Yeah, that would be a red flag. Even though I have two phones, I got one for work and one for personal.
But would you take two phones on a
No,
date?
no, and well, maybe if I was on call, but I know what you're saying. There's a lot of guys that have burner phones, and yeah, so that's a major sign. A burner phone would be a major sign,
Hmm.
and I've heard of some horror stories like with that. So yeah, the burner phone would
Hmm.
be a. And speaking of phones, like if somebody gets a text or a phone call and it rings and they're with you, and then they say they kind of play, they don't answer it, and then like 2 minutes later, oh, I got to go to the bathroom real quick, and then they're gone a while, probably talking to them or could be talking to them.
Yeah, or I need to go to the car for a minute. I forgot something. And you see them walking out and trying to dial somebody's number.
That or sitting
Yeah.
in your driveway even and possibly coming inside your house and they're sitting there on the phone and it's somebody and at first of all it's just kind of rude really,
Hmm.
but then again it looks shady anyway.
It does.
Even if it's not shady, it looks shady. So
Hmm. Yeah.
but these are just like things that to look forward, look for like
Yeah.
red flags maybe perhaps,
Hmm.
but
Yeah. Also, if somebody's at your house or you're hanging out at their house and they suddenly have to go outside to take a phone call or go to the car, or they come up with excuses, I need to run out and pick up some wine in a corner store, or I forgot that I don't have this ingredient. I'm gonna run to the store really quick and come back, or corner store or gas station or something. That's a
yeah,
usually shady stuff.
especially when you got 2 cases of wine in your house already and you're saying I'm going to go to the store to
Yeah, to get this favorite one you really
yeah, that
want.
sounds, I mean,
Mhm.
there's a lot of people that are players, and there's even a lot of people that think they're players, and they're usually not even good at it.
Yeah,
So
true.
or
Yes.
playerettes.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
what else you have?
Oh, never answering their phone calls. When you call them,
Oh yes,
and they never answer, but they wait a little while to call you back, and rarely they'll pick up when you call them the first time.
yeah. Back when I was in the dating world before I met Eva, um, I would have that. You would have somebody send you a text, and you would call, so you didn't feel like texting. You would just call immediately, and they literally had the phone in their hand 3 seconds ago because you just got the text message, and they won't answer their phone. That's pretty. That's a red flag, or some.
Yeah.
That they may be shady.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Because what is the reason for not picking
Yeah,
up?
I mean that's kind of like, or if you call somebody and or send somebody a message, text message, and it shows delivered, and then they don't call you to the next day or whatever. oh, I was just busy or whatever. And that could be true, but we're just talking about red flags and signs that somebody may be shady. So, you
In
know,
the early stages of relationship or later stages in the relationship,
yeah, this
because sometimes we just overlook those red flags.
right. Definitely. I would
Mhm.
agree with that. So,
Yeah.
yeah, so far we talked about the social media aspect. We talked about watching somebody's phone habits, texting habits.
Yeah. Also, always being on the phone, texting,
Yeah,
scrolling through things, answering things,
yeah,
and not sharing who they talk to. I think polite people, like if my children texted me and my children are grown, I would tell Mike, like, oh, I'm texting my daughter, I'm texting my son, I'm texting my friend Sandy, I'm texting this person or that person, or I'm answering that person. So I think it's more
yeah,
polite to
yeah.
handle it that way,
Respectful.
and respectful,
Yeah,
yes, to another person and their feelings, so they don't have to worry about
right. It'd be
it.
rude to be on a dinner date and somebody's, you know. So,
Hmm.
yeah, so yeah, I would definitely say that hiding stuff, um, things like that. What else did you put
Hmm.
in your notes?
Oh, another fun one. Never leaves their phone laying around because
Yeah.
they are paranoid somebody might grab it,
Or that, or even having the
or somebody's gonna
ringer turned
call
off,
them.
the ringer turned
Yeah, but
off,
I
or
have a ringer turned off because I don't like my phone ringing.
yeah,
But I have it on vibration.
right. But that could
Hmm.
be a sign. I mean,
Yeah.
it's things like that. Just, I mean, look, could be,
Hmm. Yeah. That's personal preference, but um, having the phone always on themselves. I even was seeing a guy that would take his phone and take a shower with it and put it like he's watching some news and stuff in the shower. I'm like, I'm like, that's the shadiest stuff I ever seen.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Yes.
There's a lot of
Well, when you're single for 14 years, you see everything.
yeah, like I said, there's
Hmm.
a lot of people out there like that for
True.
sure.
Another one is breadcrumbing.
Oh yeah, the
In
famous breadcrumbing. Explain
yes,
what breadcrumbing is.
breadcrumbing is when you get a text, hello, and then you answer like, hey, and then nothing for like an hour or two. Oh, and then you get maybe a few hours later, I'm just checking in, checking up on you, see if you're okay. You answer nothing, right? So they kind of keep you a little warm, so you're there around. Or then they say, hey, what you're doing? What do you think I'm doing? I'm living
Yeah,
my life.
yeah,
Because you're not in
yeah.
it.
Well, one of the a red flag I'd like to add is somebody that never wants to go anywhere with you in a public place.
Hmm.
Like if you go out, they want to come to your house or and um, and have you cook or pick up food, but never go to a public place. That could be a serious red flag.
Yeah, Netflix and chill before you're in a relationship that you never had a real date before.
Yeah, they're just trying to. Maybe they don't want to. Maybe they're Mister or Mrs. Popular,
Hmm.
and they don't want to, be seen. You
True.
know, or they could even be married or something. That's and
Hmm.
just trying to cover something up
Have a girlfriend,
or two or three or the
or
rotation or whatever.
or
Yeah,
if you go out, it will be like a random place
right,
across town or something.
right, and yeah, especially not a real popular place like
Hmm.
like a place where everybody goes to that like is
It's
well
like, oh,
known.
I'm really craving hamburgers in this joint there, like at the end of town.
Yeah, 30 miles away when there's 20 places that are like 2 miles away.
But that's best hamburgers in town, so we gotta go there. And it's
Yeah,
always like some,
yeah.
yeah,
It's. I mean, the bottom line, if something's like doesn't seem right, then
usually it's not
it's
right.
usually not. But you can't take everything to heart because you know. But it could, it may not be right. But
Hmm.
if something doesn't feel right, I mean, you're feeling it for a reason a lot
Hmm.
of times.
Yeah. And another one is, of course, changing dates and or waiting till the last minute to set a real date. Like they would say, hey, let's go out on Saturday. And you said, oh, great. Saturday is great, right? What time? Um, and they say, well, I don't know yet because this and that and other. I'll let you know. And you say, well, where would you like to meet? And they will throw the place like, oh, this place, this restaurant. And you said, oh, great. Okay. Let me know what time. And then you don't hear till Saturday. And then they might say, hey, or something in the morning to keep you warm. And then nothing about the date. And then they disappear. It's like, and then they
Yeah.
come back Sunday like, hey, do you still want to go to that place? No.
Yeah, and there's a lot of there's a lot of people with egos out there that think they're all that, and they're really not, and they'll try to play shady things on men and women,
Mm-hmm.
in general. So, and another going back to that one we
Mm-hmm.
were talking about, not they want to come to your place, but never let you come to theirs
Mm-hmm.
at all,
Oh,
ever.
yes.
So they may be married, I mean, or have
Mm-hmm.
a living girlfriend or boyfriend or
Yeah.
whatever, and
You never see their place. You date them for a few weeks. They never invite you over. And there's always an excuse. Oh, it's dirty. It's too small. I don't have time to take care of it or whatever. It doesn't matter.
oh, I got another red flag
Yeah.
that just came to my mind that we didn't talk about.
A shady flag.
No, yeah, a little shade. People that are coming from long distances to see people.
Mm.
That's very huge. Especially like when you live in a good area and somebody's traveling like 2 or 3 hours away and they're saying that, oh, there's nothing good where I'm at or whatever, and that might be a sign they're trying to cover something up, because I actually knew of a guy who told me personally he would date women 100 miles away, that way he don't get caught up, and he was just trying to bang away. and
That's funny.
and I mean, I'm talking, I literally heard this from the horse's mouth. And the guy was like 8 or 10 years older than me, but it was, this was a few years back. But still,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, wow. Like,
That's
I mean,
impressive.
like, literally, even like
Mm-hmm.
3 hours away, just because you don't want to
Mm-hmm.
get caught up in something. And plus, this, I mean, I'm sure there's stories all over the net in the world where people find out that they've been dating somebody that's in a relationship or married or anything. Um, One time, years ago, I had a woman invite me to her house that I'd been on a few dates with her, and I went over there, and she was telling me that she just broke up with her boyfriend 2 days ago, and I'm thinking, wow, you've been on a date with me a few weeks ago. I'm like, wow, okay,
Yeah.
sham wow,
Yeah.
like crazy,
Yeah. Yeah.
So
That will be another one. Also, somebody that when they call you, it's always like echoey outside. When they call, that's usually a sign they're calling you from the bathroom. And they FaceTime you, but they only FaceTime you when they're out or they're outside somewhere. That's usually a sign of living in girlfriend or wife or whoever else.
yeah, I mean, there's just a lot of red flags that you could actually run into. What else you
Mhm.
have?
So the words don't support the actions.
Right?
They tell you how they're excited to know you, etc., etc., but then they disappear, breadcrumb you, and all that. So anybody shady will tell you anything you want to hear to get to the point they want to get to.
Yeah. Now, I've heard that before too from guys that I know that they'll tell a woman everything, that just to try to, like, if something sounds too good to be true, especially early, like the love bombing, or even like been on 2 dates with you. Oh, baby, I see a bright future in it for us. That's probably like total BS. And I think it's just trying to a shortcut to a piece of for action. It's to be for a nicer set of words.
Yep, that's true.
I
That's
think
true.
that's just trying to, because people love people like to hear what
What they want to
what
hear.
they want to hear, what makes them feel good,
Yes.
or like, oh, bright future in it for me. Oh, maybe I can step this up a notch since there's a bright future in it. And at the end of the day, it's not under their belt, player
Mm-hmm.
rotation type thing. So
Yeah, true, 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 true.
yeah,
So, oh, you never meet their friends or family.
yeah,
That's a big one.
that's another big one,
Mm-hmm.
especially like if you've been dating somebody a while.
Mm-hmm.
That would probably that would be, if they're always making excuses or yeah, that's
They don't really have to make excuses. They just don't invite you. They just make plans, polite plans, and you always go out and you do whatever he said he's gonna do. That's a great player right there. Somebody that keeps his word and treats you right. But for some reason, it never gets to the point of meeting their friends or family,
yeah, yeah. I would
or
agree
they
with
don't,
that.
or they don't even talk about you to their friends.
Yeah, and because a lot of times, like if yeah, like if say I'm just going to use from a guy's perspective. Say like if a guy's going out with a girl and and especially if there's a rotation type situation, and then he tries to get her, he doesn't bring her around his other friends because he doesn't want to get caught up, you know.
True.
Because say if he's with one girl and then especially around his wife or girlfriend, it's like, what? He's got a different one now. I thought he was dating so and so or whatever.
Hmm.
And
Yeah,
it's shifty and shady looking
yeah,
anyway.
and it's easier. I guess it's easier for the guy to bring a girl to guys to his friend guys because they won't tell the girl that she's not the only one. But if you're around your family or females, they'll let you know in one way or another that you're not the only one. And I've had that happen. And also, if you bring somebody, they won't bring it to your family because then they would hear from their families like, "What are you doing?" Like I would do to my children. If my
Right.
daughter brought, you know, two different boys for different occasions, I would be like, "What are you doing, girl?"
Yeah. So
Mhm.
there's definitely a lot of shady things. I guess you got anything else on that list?
um, they won't take you to events and weddings. That's another one.
Right. It's the
Along
same
the same.
scenario,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah. Oh, they call you somebody else's name.
Now, yeah, that would be yeah,
Pretty telltale sign.
yeah, yeah. That would definitely I mean, it's hard to cover something like that up because I actually heard this before on social media from a I forgot it was maybe a video or something, but the guy was saying that he never called women by their name. He would always call them baby because he didn't want to get caught up by calling the wrong name. Because he said that if you dated a lot of different women, that you're probably going to make a boo boo every
Hmm.
once in a while. This the nature of the beast.
Yeah.
And if I guess like if somebody wanted to run a rotation and was just honest with the other person, that be one would be one thing. But most people are not going to do that. They're going to try to play their games and have a woman here or a man
Sell you on a
here.
bright future.
Yeah, say on the bright future and oh baby, I go to Cancun 3 times a year or whatever, and they never been to Mexico in their life. This
Yeah,
total stuff. And
BS.
I actually heard that one time from a friend of mine. That's why I'm laughing about it. But guy ain't never been to Mexico at all. But he said, "Oh yeah, baby, 3 times a year, Cancun." You know.
True. Another way to find somebody shady, and I had that happen to me. I thought I was in a relationship for a few good months with this one guy, and he was so sweet. We had Valentine's, and then a little while after Valentine's is my birthday. So then we celebrated my birthday, and he went all out, like, oh, it's Valentine's, and then oh, it's your birthday, and this and that and other, and then we went to a social event, and one person at the event said, oh, happy birthday, Eva, oh, and my partner at the time, he says, oh, her birthday is April 16th. And I'm thinking, what? And me and the gentleman who was older gentleman look at each other and wouldn't say anything. And at that point, I knew I'm with really shady person. He doesn't even remember what he did 2 weeks ago.
And didn't you tell me one time that you broke up with somebody and it was like 2 years ago, and then you saw on a Facebook where
Oh, that's
he was
yeah. I was
celebrating,
engaged to that person.
and
Yes,
they said that they were celebrating three
three
years of
years.
in a relationship or dating
But
for 3 years.
we're broken up for a year and a half.
So that's like a year and a half difference. That
Yes.
would be pretty crazy. I mean,
Right?
that would be pretty bizarre.
That is pretty bizarre. So people do shady stuff all the time. Some people are better on covering it up, and some people are worse. And these days, you just have to trust that people have your best interest in mind, but also don't be too gullible
Yeah.
about,
All right.
trying to dismiss.
So to sum this up,
Whatever.
um,
I think it's still good.
anyway, to sum this up, let's say that the main thing I would say would be look for is social media red flags.
Mm-hmm. Phone.
Yeah, the phone and just their habits, the way they talk to you and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say that would be definitely things to look forward
Mm-hmm.
to and everything. So
True. True. I would check social media, phone habits, um, their overall habits in their life, their uh, like habits in their life, like see their routine. Because if you learn somebody's routine, then you'll know more about
right.
that person.
So
We
yep.
are all creatures
Right. We're
of routine
creatures of habit.
and
Yeah.
habit. Yes.
So yeah, this is definitely not, you know, these are just things that we, in our opinion, that we would look forward to, look for in our when we're dating and or in a relationship, that we're just, red flags or signs somebody shifty or shady, and but the social media, the phone habits, um, as far as like how they bring you around their friends, whatever. So if y'all have any other ones, drop them in the comments. We'd love to hear from y'all, and we want to continue making this content to help people. So please let us know in the comments if you would like for us to do that. And like I said, we're engaged, and so we're not even
We're off the market.
we're off the market. So yeah, so we're not really worried
We're
about this.
happily engaged.
Yes, so we're just trying to help other people, and I can tell you that it's awesome to have a relationship when you don't have to worry about shady stuff, people talking about to people behind your back, or whatever, things like that. So and so that's good. That's a
Yeah.
good thing to have.
Hopefully, we'll inspire everybody to be a better person out there dating.
Yeah, and that I'm sure we can come up with many more of these, but these are just a few. But anyway, on that note,
Yep.
we will catch y'all later. Until next time.